Hello and welcome to the viewers of this video. This is the Orange Fan here, bringing you another entry for the franchise discussion category. This video will be dedicated to the recap and thoughts for issue 7 of the Young Justice tie-in comics, Rabbit Holes. We begin this issue at Gotham City on July 31st, where Artemis is at the bus stop waiting for her mother, Paula, to return. Eventually, the bus does arrive and Paula exits the bus. She recognizes Artemis, even though it's been 6 years since she's last seen her, and she also notes that her husband, Artemis's father, is not present right now. Later on, it's nighttime, and Artemis has made dinner for both her and her mother. She admits, though, that it's not a particularly special dinner, or it's nothing special, but Paula says that this meal here is better than the meals that she had when she was in prison for the past 6 years. Later on in the night, Artemis is examining her arrows when her father, Lawrence, announces that he's returned home. But then he notices that Paula's back, and he's quite surprised, despite the fact that Artemis had mentioned earlier that she did remind her father about Paula's return today. And so Lawrence and Paula head into their room to talk to each other privately. They close the door. But Artemis still tries to listen in on their conversation from the hallway. And Paula and Lawrence's conversation brings up a little bit. It's still vague, but we do hear vague details about the event that led to Paula eventually being sent to jail. Lawrence says that it could have happened to either one of them, but Paula points out that she was the one who took both falls, referring to the fact that she went to jail for 6 years, but also referring to the fact that whatever incident this was, this incident also led to Paula losing the ability to walk. Paula is also aware of the fact that their oldest daughter had run away from home during these 6 years, and Paula says that her first priority is Artemis, and she wants to make sure that Artemis has a better life than the rest of their family has. And she urges Lawrence to turn over a new leaf. And give up the criminal lifestyle, or else she says that he can leave home if he refuses. Lawrence does end up refusing to give up the criminal life and decides he'll leave. But he scoffs at Paula's notion or Paula's determination to give Artemis a better life than they had, because Lawrence is convinced that Artemis is one of them, that Artemis will just follow the same example as the rest of them. And Artemis is not happy when she overhears this, so she returns to her own room and she pulls out a green costume and she prepares to head out. And later on still, we see that Artemis is now at a store and she's going up against some criminals who are trying to rob the store. And yep, she's able to defeat these criminals rather easily, and she manages to escape before the police arrive. The thieves, though, mistake Artemis for a different thief, and they wonder why she didn't steal anything. So the next few scenes show us brief events from August 1st and August 2nd, and we see Artemis is continuing to fight crime during these brief scenes. Eventually, it's now August 3rd, and Artemis is once again out on patrol in the middle of the night. Suddenly, she sees Superboy being hurled through the sky and crashing into Gotham Academy. So Artemis, well, Yeah, for earlier in the issue, Artemis was referencing Alice in Wonderland by saying that she was looking for her own rabbit hole. So, continuing those Alice in Wonderland references, she refers to Superboy as a white rabbit. So, she follows Superboy to Gotham Academy and she looks in on one of the windows. She climbs up a tree and she looks through the window and she sees that it's the gym. And she recognizes Robin and Kid Flash, and she recognizes Superboy as her white rabbit, as she describes him. She doesn't recognize Amazo, but she does recognize Professor Ivo as a colleague of her father's. So she figures that Professor Ivo must be bad news. But before Artemis can do anything else, she realizes that she's been surrounded by some of Professor Ivo's monkeys, and that's how we end the issue. So there you go. This is part one of a two-parter that references an episode from the TV series, but it's a different character's perspective of these events. More specifically, the character in question is Artemis. So, yes, this two-part story is about, this two-part story gives us a more specific idea or provides greater detail on how Artemis joined the Young Justice team. And we do get to see, well, first it starts before the episode Schooled by showing us Artemis as she's waiting for her mother Paula to return home. And we do get to briefly see Paula's husband, Artemis's father, Lawrence. And notably, during the panels of the tie-in comic issue, they never give you a clear look at Lawrence's face. Like, his eyes are hidden by his hat, or he's not looking directly at the panel, so they don't give a clear look at his face. And the reason for that is because at the time that this issue was released, this was before Artemis's father's true identity was revealed. So, and yes, if I'm remembering correctly, I believe this issue also came out before the episode Homefront, which revealed who Artemis's older sister is. So that was a pretty cool thing, how this issue of the tie-in comics kind of provided hints of things that at the time were not revealed in the TV series yet when they were initially released. So that's again a pretty cool thing about the tie-in comics, providing greater detail on things that are only touched up upon in the TV series proper, but in other cases it also provides hints of what's to come in future episodes of the TV series. So that was a pretty cool detail. And they did also had a pretty interesting twist where they try to make it look like Artemis is going to commit a crime. Like the way the panels are drawn, it makes it look like Artemis is committing a crime, only to reveal, nope, Artemis is stopping a crime. Artemis is determined to avoid the same fate as her other relatives, her other criminal relatives. Well, Paula did turn over a new leaf. She's no longer a criminal. But the same can't be said for Artemis's older sister and Artemis's father, especially if you know their true identities, which was revealed later on in the TV series. But it was nice that we got to see a little bit more about Artemis as a character and see that Artemis really is determined to avoid the same fate as her relatives who went down the path of the criminal. So it really helps to establish more of Artemis's character, which is definitely a good thing in my book. And otherwise, that's about it for this particular issue. We do go into We'll go more into detail with issue 8, the next issue. We'll talk more about this two-parter in the video, recapping and sharing thoughts for that issue. But otherwise, yeah, this was a good start to the two-parter that provided an explanation for how Artemis came to join the Young Justice team. And it's quite appropriate that it happened after the two-part story detailing other members of the Young Justice team's origin story. So, yeah, there we go. So, as of this video, we've now discussed issue 7 of the Young Justice tie-in comics on this channel. Take care, and until next time.